Well, part of the reason that Stoneforge Mystic is, something of an interesting card is that it gives an incentive to control decks to play a creature that just dies to removal and life goes on. Now, of course, you still have the equipment to show for it. In older formats, you can shuffle away with Brainstorm, but it is a cost to add to control decks, playing a creature that just dies to Fatal Push and other removal spells. And Bursavich has gone to a more classic route here, still playing with 4 copies of Snapcaster Mage, but obviously you care a lot less about that creature dying than a copy of Stoneforge Mystic.
Austin will fall down to 18 as he plays a Hallowed Fountain untapped and pass the turn back over to Morgan, who it appears as though he's probably playing humans, right? You see an Ancient Ziggurat, now you see a Cavern of Souls, and you've got a Noble Hierarch, but the reality is that Cavern is naming Elemental because he is playing 5-color Elementals, a weird-looking deck.
So walk me through this as someone who made his bones during Lorwyn block.
Yes.
What are the Elementals?
I should know all of the Elementals.
Yes, you should.
Well, let me see. That red one there, I'm going to test my memory here. All right, that's a Hellspark Elemental. Even you know that one.
I do know Hellspark Elemental.
You've cast and unearthed that one quite a bit, as Austin's going to take a look. The other Elemental that just joined the fray, it's the cost reducer. It's Bright Hearth Banneret.
Still got it.
That's what that is.
Still got it.
Okay. See if we can get that one up there. As Hellspark's going to come in for 4 because of Exalted, and Austin's going to play a Path to Exile on the Hellspark Elemental. So there's the Bright Heart Banneret. 2-mana 1/1 elemental spells and warrior spells you play cost 1 less to play and reinforce.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen that one in a little while. You can pay 1 in a red, discard to this card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Something I've done a lot of with Rustic Clan. Yes. An island of the snow-covered variety here for Austin, who knows his way around a control deck. He did win Grand Prix Fort Worth/Dallas earlier this year with Azorius Control during Hogak Summer, the early stages of Hogak Summer. A GP that Tom Ross made the top 8 with Hogak. Now we do see a small splash of black here for Bursavich here this weekend. Kaya's Guile, Fatal Push among some of the black cards he's elected to play, but most notably, no Stoneforge Mystic. We'll have, I'm sure, more of that later today. For now, we go back over to Morgan Booksh. Booksh. I like his last name. It's fun to say. Primal Beyond is the elemental 5-color land.
Mm-hmm. So you know all this. You thought,
It's all coming back to me now. Oh, are we gonna hard cast the Spite Bellows?
Mm-hmm. Unlikely to present many targets, you know what I mean?
The Evoke on Spite Bellows is probably not going to come up much. As Primal Beyond comes into play, you may reveal an elemental card from your hand. If you do, Primal Beyond comes into play untapped. It can tap for a colorless, or you can tap it for any color of mana, but you can only use that mana on elemental spells or activated abilities of elementals like from Horde of Notions, when here is a Spite Bellows.
See, Spite Bellows very good against Stoneforge Mystic.
True. Came prepared. The Banneret's going to come in with Exalted, give some beatdowns. Thanks. We're going to head back over to Austin, who will do a little bit of opting. He'll scry one. That top card, we'll see where it's going to go. It's going to become the bottom card now. So a mystery card coming here for Bursavich. And now he'll untap. He'll go to his 3rd turn. He'll draw a card. I'm on the hunt for Terminus here to see if there's any in the deck list. It does not appear as though that's the case.
2 copies of Supreme Verdict, no copies of Terminus.
That's a Field of Ruin. That card's probably going to be pretty popular this weekend because we expect to see a lot of Tron this weekend, or at least I do.
Well, that's kind of a level 1 deck a lot of people have been discussing about, Stoneforge Mystic on turn 2. That's good, but Tron can easily overpower it, assembling Tron quickly and playing really anything off of its top end.
Spite Bellows with Exalted. That's not alive anymore. Snapcaster Mage, targeting Path to Exile. Good block. They'll trade. Spite Bellows will die. It has to deal 6 to something. That's the rules. It's a tough turn for Morgan. That's a tough turn.
Good morning, Dallas.
Yeah, it's a tough turn there. There's an Ancient Ziggurat and a passing of the turn, and now Path to Exile is going to finish off Noble Hierarch, and all of a sudden, Morgan's battlefield is no more. As Austin has very quickly cleaned it up. His Spite Bellows turned against him.
I think he may be out of basics. I think only the one forest in there. Oh, excuse me.
One of the snow covered,
yes.
How about that tough
Playing
guy?
around predict.
Yes, yes, that's it. We'll head back over to Austin now. The battlefield is clear, just how his deck likes it. You know, I know we've talked a lot about Stoneforge Mystic as Watergrave enters the battlefield and tap. Perhaps your old buddy Snapcaster Mage is going to be on the rise here. Or this!
Yep. Well,
or this guy right here.
Right. Well, Snapcaster Mage plays really well alongside of 1-mana interaction, like Path to Exile, Thoughtseize, etc. The same is true of Stoneforge Mystic.
Right.
So you'd expect these cards to kind of all show up together. And there's a lot of different ways you can build with Stoneforge Mystic. It doesn't ask a whole lot in terms of deck or deck construction or sheer number of cards. But I think the baseline that a lot of people are going to go to is in this sort of skeleton. Maybe Jace, maybe not, but Snapcaster Mage and cheap interaction certainly will be part of the equation.
It'll be a Jace the Mind Sculptor, a little Fate Seal action, which puts Jace at 5 counters, able to dodge Lightning Bolt or perhaps something hasty. As Morgan.
These are going to be some extremely fun Fate Seals for Austin.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of reading.
Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of different elementals in this deck. Oh, the Banneret is back.
Yep.
What's the big follow-up? It's a little bit cheaper. I've played against this one. This one is worth a read because it beat the crap out of me at Grand Prix Las Vegas last weekend. This is the Thunderkin Awakener. Mm-hmm. It has haste. It gets to get back an elemental. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Choose target elemental creature in the graveyard with toughness less than Thunderkin Awakener's toughness. Spike Bellows has 1 toughness, Awakener has 2. Return that card to the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sacrifice it at the beginning of your next end step.
Now, unfortunately, you know.
Bit of a non-bow.
With the Spike Bellows, in this particular matchup.
Yes. In other matchups, could be out of control. Spike Bellows has killed 2 of Morgan's creatures, none of Austin's. It's not been a great debut, but that Spike Bellows killed Jace.
Right. Guidance Vengeance.
And also, the Thunderkin Awakener makes you sacrifice and not exile it. And so I learned the hard way that with Lightning Skelemental.
That's the
loop.
That's the loop.
That's the loop. I got looped bad. And I was playing Hogak, and I just got my brains beat in. So Bursavich is going to have to answer this this combo. Now, he has a control deck, so I think he'll be able to do that. Didn't get a lot of value out of his Jace, though. So we head back over to Morgan. Appears as though perhaps Morgan drew something a little bit interesting here. He's going to do a little bit of thinking.
Can resolve everything very easily for the time being through the cavern.
Mm-hmm. He'd like to attack, it appears, with the old Awakener here. I didn't even know this was a card.
No.
And it's my job to know all of the cards.
Well, this one's fairly modest right now in Standard, I would imagine. And you don't really think about going back and looking at the elementals that are available to you in Modern and before, but Morgan certainly has. That turn was very impressive. I mean, it looked like Bursavich had just trivialized everything that Booksh had done up until that point, but...
Here comes the Flamekin Hamburger. 1/1 comes into play. Search your library for an elemental card. Reveal it. Shuffle your deck. Put this on top. Risen Reef. Value.
Yes. All things to get back with the Lord.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who's laughing now? Maybe this Elementals deck is a little bit better than we think. It's funny because we're in a brand new world where anything is possible.
Well, the 1/2 is very impressive. That card's obviously like pretty pushed for this style of deck.
And you know what card's an elemental? I'll tell you right now, Fulminator Mage. For all you Tron bozos out there.
Oh, those are got to be. I mean, is Booksh not playing them?
I don't know. They're in the board.
Yeah.
3 in the board for the Tron folks out there.
You got to give me 1 in the main deck. You got to give me
able to tutor up?
You got to give me 1 in the main deck. In reality, you got to give me 4 in the main deck. That's the easiest way.
I like having a lot of them.
But you got to at least have 1.
Uh-oh, Austin's tapping 5 mana here. What's this about? This is a Teferi, Hero of Dominaria. That's going to plus, draw a new card here. Going to be untapping 2 lands in just a moment. Bursavich will untap a Water Grave and a Hallowed Fountain, pass the turn back. Let's go over to Morgan Booksh, who's drawn a Risen Reef. You can play that Risen Reef through the Cavern. Now, one appeal to Elementals of many is that you got really good mana. You got Ancient Stirrings, you have Primal Beyond, you've got Cavernous Souls.
Yeah.
So your 5-color deck's got really, really good mana. Now, the question is, are there enough powerful Elementals? Well, I haven't done a Gatherer search recently for Elementals, so I don't know. But they did print, like, the Cavalier Cycle and a bunch of Elementals in Core Set 2020, so maybe there are some good ones. Risen Reef is pretty powerful. I don't know if it's powerful enough for Modern. It's a pretty powerful card, though.
I mean, if you're going to do the Elemental thing, I can't imagine not playing it.
All right, Morgan is thinking it through. But what does he want to do? All right, 2 mana. Might be time to maybe go back to that Thunderkin Awakener. Whatever he's going to do, he's got to make a play here soon. All right, there's the Awakener. That resolves. How about we go to the attack step? Fatal Push says, I don't think so.
Yeah, and I think the Awakener was kind of Booksh's one hope of just having enough kind of like raw cards to work with, plus enough power and flexibility. I think Bursavich has gotten himself kind of out of the worst of it at this point.
Risen Reef through the Cavern. Let's do a little trigger here. Now, he doesn't have to reveal the card, and it looks like that's going to be an unclaimed territory. Another 5-color land for Elementals. And now we head back over to Bursavich. Bursavich is going to untap and draw. He's got that Teferi on the battlefield. The elevator's going up to 6. He'll draw another card. Picked up a copy of Esper Charm. Supreme Verdict is going to clear everything up. Celestial Colonnade will enter the battlefield untapped, and then Bursavich will untap 2 lands because of the Teferi with Esper Charm, and I'm sure plenty other things at the ready. So this looks like in the draw step. Esper Charm, make you discard 2 cards, 2 lands go to the graveyard, and Morgan knows he's beat because there's a Teferi with 6 counters on the battlefield, and he will concede the game. So Austin Bursavich is going to win game number 1 here over Morgan Booksh, as Esper Control is up a game over Elementals of the 5-color variety. As we prepare to go to the sideboards here, we'll get our eyes on what these players are working with. And we will start with Morgan, who's got 3 Force of Vigor, 3 Fulminator Mage, 2 Dismember, 2 Mind Sparker, 2 Surgical Extraction, 2 Healer of the Glade, and an Ingot Chua.
The 3 Fulminator Mage is going to get top billing here. You get the Spite Bellows out of the deck. Fulminator Mage really just kind of good on its own, and any sort of recursion could be game winning if Morgan can set that up. I don't mind the 1 Ingot Chewer here as a hedge against Stoneforge Mystic, even though Bursavich doesn't have it in the list.
For Bursavich, he's got 2 Stony Silence, 2 Timely Reinforcements, 2 Celestial Purge, 2 Ceremonious Rejection, and I'm looking at 7 1-ofs here, partner, and Dovin's Veto, Force Negation, Kyle's Guile, Disenchant, Engineered Explosives, Thoughtseize, and a card which probably won't see as much play as it used to in Surgical Extraction.
Yeah, that one's going to fall off a little bit and not come in here. Like the Thoughtseize, the Engineered Explosives, and the 2 copies of Celestial Purge. Just more removal, more ways to break up the elemental synergies.
Well, these players are going to shuffle up and get ready here for game number 2. We are going to talk about the StarCityGames.com weekly sale, where this week it's your favorite thing. Foils.
Foils.
You love foils. We got
love them.
Gazella, Blade of Gold Knight, Brainstorm, Phyrexian Tower. That's an oldie but a goodie. And come on, how do you even say that?
A Minotaur?
A Minotaur? The Fate Shifter? That's a commander card. I know that. Sheldon Menery writes about that one a lot. Go to StarCityGames.com/sale for you foil fans out there. Save big on foils to enhance your collection. I know Patrick likes the old school cards, no foils. I'm fine with foils. I have no problem.
I'm fine with them too. They're just not for me. It's okay for something to not be for you.
We're going to play an interesting little game. You ready?
Okay.
Morgan in his sideboard has a card named Mind Sparker. Do you know what that does?
0%er. Absolutely not. I glossed over that when we were talking about the sideboarding. It could be uncounterable protection from all of Bursavich's colors. and I still would not have thought of it or suggested that he bring it in.
It's really good, the matchup. Wait, hold on.
All right, talk to me.
All right, you ready?
Ready for it.
What color do you think it is?
Sounds like a red card.
Okay, that's right. That's right. How much do you think it cost?
Let's call it 3.
You're 2 for 2.
Okay.
Okay, red card costs 3. What do you think the casting cost is?
Red and 2 colorless.
All right, red, 1.
Okay.
All right. It's creature.
Okay.
Creature type, what do you think?
Gonna go with elemental.
Nailed it.
All right.
Well done. Power and toughness for the Sparker.
Go with Herloom Minotaur stats.
Which is
2-3.
3-2. Very close.
Okay.
You're doing quite well for not knowing this card. It has an ability that a red card would have.
When an opponent takes a game action of some characteristic, deal damage to them.
All right, let's take a look. That's pretty close. 3 mana, 3/2 first strike.
Look at this banger.
Whenever opponent casts a white or blue instant or sorcery spell, Mind Sparker deals 2 damage to that
All
player.
right, this is in the deck.
That's coming in.
That was also sided in.
The Spark, I've never seen this card. There's a lot of cards in Magic. I'm sure during core set 14, that was a card that knew what it did, but I didn't know that one. Morgan has done the Gatherer Search.
Oh, yeah.
Has dug through the elemental bin
Satisfying search.
and has found Mind Sparker for you Azorius and Esper players out there. It's going to at least deal 2, because you got to get off the battlefield. So that's at least dealing 2. Might deal 4.
I don't know. Could just get pushed. But yeah, I mean.
That's right. I forgot about push.
It also has the right keyword for attacking into Snapcaster Mage, too.
First strike.
First strike. Can't block it.
Oh, here we go. Get a little hand cam action going here. I see a Flicker Wisp. See a couple 5-color lands. The Flamekin Hamburger. It all looks good over there for Morgan. For Austin, a couple of different lands.
A lot of lands in that hand.
Yeah, I see an Esper Charm, a Fatal Push. There are a lot of lands. Esper Charm and Fatal Push, the only spells in hand here for Austin Bursavich. Glacial Fortress, I think a Watery Grave.
That one looks like a keep to me. Obviously, the hand's not great, but.
Morgan's going to send it back. Austin's going to keep it.
Yeah.
Now remember, we are under the London Mulligan nowadays, so players will, when they mulligan, take a look at 7 cards, then put 1 or some number higher than 1 on the bottom of their deck, depending on how many times they've mulliganed. So that is worth noting. I like the London Mulligan a lot, for the record. Super, super into it.
I'm neutral negative.
Neutral negative, he says.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just the first couple turns sure do look the same more often. And you can like that or not.
Let's take a look at the 7 now. Risen Reef's in there. The Banneret's in there. Love me a Banneret. Uh-oh, Banneret gonna go to the bottom? No. Land gonna go to the bottom? All right, land to the bottom. Let's do it to it. Ancient Ziggurat passes turn over to Bursavich. Picked up a copy of Kaya's Guile. Swamp of the snow-colored variety. We're gonna head back over to Morgan now. That's a Cavern of Souls. Elementals are uncountable now. This looks like it might be the old Banneret. Or it could be Smoke Braider. Some sort of 2-drop here. All right, Banneret. Pass turn. I think we're going to push that one. Yeah, that's dead. Over to Bursavich we go. A Grand Prix champion, an SCG Tour champion in this building. Austin has done a lot of winning in Fort Worth, Texas. There's a snow-covered island. Let's go back over to Morgan. Morgan will draw. He found a Copperline Gorge. It's going to be a Vesper Lark. Let's take a look at this, just like Austin is.
It's the Baby Revel Arc.
So
this is being
evoking.
evoked.
All right, that resolves. Back to the Banneret time. Copperline Gorge. And And just a pass. Back to Bursavich. Bursavich with Kaya's Guile and Esper Charm, and a handful of lands in hand, it appears. There's the white source, so all 3 colors of mana online. We're going to head back over to Morgan. See what our Elementals player has for turn number 4, especially with the Elementals costing a little bit less. It's a Risen Reef.
Good place to start. More mana, more cards to work with. Once all your costs are reduced.
Uncounterable Risen Reef, mind you, given the Cavern of Souls on Elementals. Bursavich might be responding here, but we know he won't be countering the spell. This will be a Kaya's Guile. We'll take a look at this modal spell. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Exile all cards from each opponent's graveyard. Create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature. You gain 4 life. You get to choose 2 of these. So we're going to head back over to Bursavich now.
I'm assuming here we're waiting on the spirit, right?
That is the assumption. As we see our table spotter digging through the box. And there's our spirit token to go along with the sacrificing of a creature. Drowned Catacombs, and now it's a very powerful Planeswalker with protection and Jace the Mind Sculptor. Bursavich will brainstorm. Draw 3 and put back 2. You got to imagine that Jace the Mind Sculptor is going to be pretty good in this new modern format now, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, even when Stoneforge Mystic dies, a lot, you know, for just the presence of that card in the format kind of necessitates more cheap removal. Makes your opponents spend their turns interacting instead of just getting onto the battlefield. And when that's the case, it kind of looks like this, where it's just easier to get to the 4th turn with a relatively clean battlefield, a little bit of protection, and then you can take over with Jace as well. Decks that are a mixture of some threats and some removal spells, and they're a little bit, like, you know, cumbersome. Not the fastest, not the most streamlined. Jace is typically very good against those decks, and Stoneforge Mystic creates an environment where you need to play a little bit more of that sort of game, rather than being like all-in, homogenous, no removal.
The Thunderkin Awakener is back. Gets an Elemento, so it triggers the Risen Reef. And now we're going to do a little awakening. Attacking Jace, getting back. Oh, talk to me about this. The Vesper Lark now also gets to attack. He gets to trigger the Risen Reef from the Esper Lark, or from the Vesper Lark. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Spirit Token going to block there, sure. Jace going to fall down to 1. Ooh, I like this card. Hamburger. You can stack it.
Oh, man. It's just a tutor.
That's just a straight tutor. That's just a tutor.
You know, Booksh is down a game here, and you know, there is just a massive delta in card quality between the 2 decks. There's no 2 ways about it. And the fact that Bursavich has spot removal to break up the synergies plus sweepers to clean up everything, I think it's just sort of fundamentally very tough for Morgan to play through. But you're seeing some cool turns. I mean, this is not a weak collection of cards once the synergies start coming together.
It feels like there's some stuff going on here.
For sure. I mean, we've had you know, there's been a couple of turns where I think Bursavich thought, you know, this one's kind of locked up. I've got this one stabilized. And Booksh has come back with a lot of haste threats. It was able to get to the battlefield kind of in synergistic ways. Able to fight over these Planeswalkers. I thought the Jace from the battlefield that we saw there was pretty much game over. And, you know, we play on from here. And Booksh has a hand, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 cards right now, too.
Yeah, because it's generating a lot of cards.
A lot to work over, a lot of leftovers, too.
So the Vesperlark brings back the Banneret. The Banneret triggers the Risen Reef, and so Booksh drew a card off of that. Didn't find a land, so just add another card to his hand. Bursavich has just a Jace standing tall right now. Going to sacrifice a Polluted Delta. Get a Hollow Fountain that enters the battlefield untapped. Now let's see what Austin wants to do now. Keep in mind he has not activated the Jace just yet. Now he'll Brainstorm. 2, 3. Looks like a couple of lands there. Maybe 3 lands. Nothing all that exciting. Two cards will go back on top. And just a passing of the turn. So, Morgan's going to get to draw a card here. We know he's got Mindsparker in hand. And we know he's got a boatload of cards in hand, among them Ether Vial. Which is actually probably a pretty nice addition to this deck, too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this stuff plays pretty well in instant speed.
I have no idea what that is. Is that a Tunneling Guess? What is that? Did I get that right? Is my guess actually right with Tunneling Guess?
That's a Tunneling Guess. The anti-fetch land technology.
Sure, let's go ahead and bring that up. Yeah, I nailed it. Path to Exile is going to take care of Risen Reef. All right, so Tunnelingus, 2 mana, 2. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, if that player had another land enter the battlefield under his or her control this turn, Tunnel Ignis deals 3 damage to that player. Okay, so yes, the anti-fetch land. Not anti-Field of Ruin, just anti-fetch land. All right.
And, you know, other forms of acceleration.
Yes. Very good against Scape Shift. Oh, yeah.
That's how priority works.
That's right. That's correct. Nice. That third cup of coffee got you there.
Yep.
Let's see what comes next here for Morgan. Could be the Soul Stoke. I remember that card. The Elemental Lord, Incandescent Soul Stoke. Only 2 copies, but it's both in hand right now, so there is the Soul Stoke. 3 mana, 2/2. Other elemental creatures you control get +1/+1. 1 red, tap. You may put an elemental creature card from your hand into play. That creature gains haste until end of turn. Sacrifice it at end of turn.
Mm-hmm.
All right, beatdowns. Trigger. Get back old Vesperlark. That's attacking too, says you.
So my read is the smaller ones are going after Jace.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like that attack was successful. Bursavich is going to take a few points as well.
Vesperlark will die. Sacrifice it, of course. But Austin's got an effect here. He's going to opt.
Just really on the hunt for Supreme Verdict here.
Yep. And he already knew the top card was decked because of the Jace Brainstorm, so he immediately put that to the bottom, drew the other card he put back on top. Now he's Esper Charming to draw 2 cards. Untapping all 5 lands, draw another card. You said it, looking for some sort of sweeper effect like Supreme Verdict. Tunnel Ignis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, might want to read that. Don't want
Careful
to
with
take
those fetch lands.
Reading the Soul Stoke. Getting a good look at things. It's always good to read your opponent's cards, especially if you're unfamiliar with them. Doesn't hurt to read them more than once. Drowned Catacombs will enter the battlefield untapped. This is a Celestial Purge, so goodbye Incandescent Soul Stoke. It's exiled because of the Purge.
And Bursavich is basically trying to cut out anything that has a non-combat effect on the game and then manage everything through Cryptic Command. If you just cut the legs out from Morgan here and say all you can do is attack with your creatures, they have no other utility, then Cryptic Command can buy you a lot of turns to try to find that Supreme Verdict.
Two mana. Soulstoke uncounterable. Soulstoke, of course, costing only 2 because of the Banneret. Now might be time to go to the attack step. And Austin says, not quite yet, thank you. I'm going to tap all of your creatures, draw a card. Esper Charm the draw.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred for Booksh to start with the Mind Sparker here, because you could probably see the Cryptic Command in response to this. Unless you just want it to resolve and you think you're going to get Cryptic regardless, then you can sneak it through this way, so maybe not.
Well, he snuck it through along with a Noble Hierarch, going to pass the turn back. Supreme Verdict still good nonetheless.
Yeah, that'll play here.
Yeah. Bursavich will draw. He's looking for the Verdict. He drew a Colonnade, got an Esper Charm in hand. Two Esper Charms, in fact, here for Bursavich. And a game that has ended up being way more competitive than we thought it was going to be after that Jace hit the battlefield. Now everything's looking pretty good here for Morgan, and Austin is in some real trouble.
These attacks are all lethal.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Bursavich can't find a sleeper or a Cryptic, a lot of pressure on him to have a lot of spot removal to be able to keep his head above water.
And now if the plan is, you know, Jace plus Cryptic or Esper Charming, and Bursavich looks like he's not taking damage on that one. Supreme Verdict was found.
Yeah.
You got to remember, Mind Sparker is something that Morgan controls, so he's got to remember to deal his opponent damage.
You got to remember your Ingus trigger.
I think he got that one.
Yes. And then you get your 2 from the Mind Sparker. That's 5 points. Plus the Polluted Delta, plus the Howl Fountain.
Yeah. No, I do think he forgot with the Mind Sparker. No,
I thought he pointed
Okay.
at the Ingus.
All right.
And the Mind Sparker. We got all our triggers here. Yes. All you needed from here is a hastened Spite Bellows.
Oh
we go
my.
we go to game number 3.
My.
We're not asking the world here. 2 Hellspark Elementals, perhaps.
Time to draw.
Big draw coming.
Didn't get a great look at it, but I know Austin's at 4. There's a Vial. A little late to the party is the Vial.
That's how Morgan's starting the turn here. Austin
Gotta be pretty happy.
wiping a little sweat off his brow.
There's Vial number 2. And he's just going to pass the turn back, I think. He wants to take a look at the graveyard first, see what's going on down there.
Yeah, it looks like Booksh leftovers here. Just some Vials and a Hierarch. Not a whole lot to work with.
He's tapping a little extra mana. Oh, well.
No one knows what this card is.
It's the Creeping Trailblazer, partner. 2 mana, 2/2 other elemental creatures you control get +1/+0. 2 red-green Creeping Trailblazer gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each elemental you control. Of course, at 2020, hello. The 5th Lord, if you would. I don't think Bursavich is too scared of that one. Just going to play a Colonnade and pass the turn back. Vials are going to go up to 1. Draw. Bursavich at a lowly 4. With Cryptic at the ready, along with another copy of Celestial Purge. Morgan taking a look through his graveyard, seeing what his options are. Not sure if he has any graveyard recursion or not. We know he's got Noble Hierarch in hand.
I think Thunderkin Awakener may have been the draw step here.
Here comes the Trailblazer. Push will take care of that. He'll pass the turn back. Bursavich, Esper Charming. He wants 2 new cards. He'll get 2 new cards.
Yeah, I think Bursavich probably feeling at this point that Booksh's leftovers in hand are not very good. You would have seen them on the previous turn. So I'd rather just keep drawing through his own deck, trying to find answers and ways to close out this game.
Field of Ruin, the land for the turn here for Austin. He'll pass the turn back. Another Supreme Verdict in the grip. Morgan's going to activate Vial, put a Noble Hierarch in. Bursavich will say that's fine. You can untap. Vial triggers go on the stack and the upkeep. 2 and 1. And back over to Morgan. Cavernous Souls is going to be tapping for some mana. This is a Risen Reef. Not a bad place to start. Trigger on the stack. Take a look at that top card. That card goes to hand. It's a copy of Ancient Ziggurat. Remember, with Risen Reef, you don't actually have to put the land on the battlefield. You can draw it. Activate the Vial. Bursavich taking a look at the old graveyard here. Might have Snapcaster Mage in hand. A game that's gotten surprisingly competitive here. I do agree with you that there's a pretty big delta in card quality, but Morgan's doing pretty good at keeping up.
Well, it isn't just the card quality, it's that Bursavich's cards line up the right way. It's spot removal and sweepers, cryptic command. But Booksh still fighting through here in game number 2.
Hellspark. He's rebuilt pretty nicely. Now Austin's actually got to do something. There will be a Risen Reef trigger too. Four mana. Cryptic Command. It's going to counter Hellspark Elemental and allow Austin to draw a card. So now we're attacking, or at least we'd like to be.
Can't imagine that Bursavich would cryptic there and not have some sort of answer here for the Awakener.
Yeah, the Purge just looks like it's going to take care of the Awakener. All right, that's going to take care of that annoying Elemental. Now Noble Hierarch's going to sneak in for 1, or at least try to. Now, if you're Austin, you do have to be a little bit wary, as here's an opt of that Hellspark Elemental that's in the graveyard because of Unearth. So he will opt before damage will take place. He'll fall down to 3. Back over to Austin we're going to go. Again, Supreme Verdict in hand. We can't forget about the Colony that's at the ready here, too. Now Austin's going to start to rearrange his mana a little bit. Here's 4 mana. There is the Verdicts. White, white, blue, and 1. Land for the turn, pass it back. Cavernous Soul is going to tap for some mana. Ah, the hamburger. There it is. What's it want to get this time?
I think Fulminator's probably a little late to the party at this point. I don't know. My intuition here is you want the Mind Sparker. It's uncounterable a couple different ways.
Looks like he's going to go towards the Risen Reef. Now, the problem here with the Flamekin Harbinger is...
Oh, the Field of Ruin.
You have nailed it, sir.
A shuffle. A wash. Give it a wash.
Hellspark's going to come back. 3-1, Trample Haste. How much damage do you think you've dealt with this card?
Very little.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Didn't play this one much?
This one never worked out for me.
Okay. Here's Snappy. Kai's Guile. Ooh. Gonna choose 2 here. So it looks like it's going to be Exile Graveyards with the Unearth in the stack, maybe gain some life. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think Bursavich gets the whole thing here, including the Hellspark Elemental.
Yep. And he gets to go from 3 to 7, which is pretty nice.
Yep.
Now we go back over to Austin. He's quickly untapping. He'll draw. Starting to pull away a little bit here. Kai's Guile card I forgot existed.
Yep.
Might be pretty good now.
Yep. Another Modern Horizons card that it's pretty powerful. Got crowded out because Hogak just crowded out a whole lot of stuff.
It did.
I think that's the other thing about this tournament we're going to see. Sort of the second wave of Modern Horizons cards into the format. Like I said, Hogak was just so powerful that a lot of reasonable options just had no place in the metagame. But now, with Faithless Looting out, I think we're going to see a lot more out of that set.
The Field of Ruin, now a Snapcaster Mage. Snapcaster is going to target Esper Charm. Looks like Austin's going to draw 2 more cards. Get a little bit deeper into the deck. So there's 3 mana modal cards that also, some of them have you choose 2. Looks pretty good. Snapcaster's going to trade with the Hamburger. Let's go back over to Morgan. Just a land.
Bursavich approaching the amount of mana required to entwine as well, should he find another copy.
Very true. And he did draw another copy.
You get it all. You get a token. You get their graveyard. You get some life.
Make him sack a creature.
You kill a thing. Get it all.
Going to fire up the Colonnade. Looking to try to get this game over with. There's an attack for 6. Morgan's going to fall down to 14.
Something that has been, I think, really good from Bursavich so far is just pace of play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the biggest thing when you're playing an Esper deck, especially one with no Stoneforge Mystics. That's where you get most of your fast wins. I think his pace of play has been really crisp. And when you're playing a deck like this where you're winning with Snapcaster and Colonnade beatdowns, you've got to be mindful of draws.
It'll be an Esper Charm. Austin like to draw 2 more cards.
Especially in Dallas, we have so many people show up. It's usually a hard 7-2 cut.
Yep.
And a draw on day 1 is the same as a loss.
We've got over 600 players here once again. No surprise there. Colonnade will get fired up. All these creatures are going to attack. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Booksh should be falling down to 6. There's the Mind Sparker. A little late to this party. All right. Austin says that's fine. Vials will be on the stack. 3 and 2. Austin's going to play a Kai's Guile. Trigger is going to bring Austin down to 5. I think this is going to make you sacrifice and gain some life, perhaps. 2 Ancient Ziggurats and a draw step here from Morgan. He'll extend the hand. Austin Bursavich is going to win this match here over Morgan Booksh. 2 games to 0. Esper control without Stoneforge.